What would make a student pepper spray a teacher? How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a teacher in a Nashville area high school who was pepper sprayed by one of his students. Now, this is a high school. I'm not sure what grade the student, a female student, is in, but the teacher asked the girl to put away her phone. She's refusing, so he takes the phone. This is probably a common thing that happens in schools all over the nation, but she was upset at that. And she decided to pepper spray the teacher in retaliation. Now, this story is crazy, but shout out to the teacher for speaking out and defending himself in the situation. Now, before I go any further, let's roll the news clip. If you want to see it in full without my commentary, the link, as always, will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio. Go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Conscionable that you would have to put up with something like that for $48,000 a year.
Well, tonight, for the first time, we're hearing from an Antioch High School teacher pepper sprayed by his student. He tells us he and the school are trying to file charges.
Our Marissa Sulik spoke with him today. He tells us he's had enough and plans to leave the school and the district after this.
Caleb Bates says he told his students on Friday here at Antioch High School to put their phones away inside his classroom. When one refused, he says she lunged at him, and that led to this. In this video, you can hear and see teacher Caleb Bates scream in pain. It comes after this student in the striped dress pepper sprayed him not once, but 3 different times on Friday.
I've had students cut my hair. I've had students spit on me.
Bates has taught in schools across the country.
Now, here's a question. So he's in Antioch, which is, again, that's Nashville. But where did he teach before? I'd love to know where he taught before and what were the demographics, what were the dynamics, how were the teachers and the parents and the students. I want to know the whole history behind his work history.
This is his first year at Antioch High School. A couple months ago, he says another student punched him in the face for taking his district-issued laptop. But this incident in the high school hallway is the reason he plans never to go back.
It got in my ear, this whole side of my face was just a bright red. Got in my mouth, nose, everything. I was coughing, hacking. It's a very unpleasant experience.
He says he tried to call for an administrator after he was first sprayed. But no one answered because the school is short-staffed. So administrators were covering for other teachers.
More happened because they were having to take on other people's responsibilities.
He says the problem doesn't lie with staff at the high school. It lies with those not working there, the students.
Now, he's brave to come out and say this because we see the obvious racial dynamics, okay? He's a white guy. This was a black female. He's very brave to say, well, it's the students, because now you could be seen as trying to be racist or whatever. But he's not lying. He is not lying. The problem at these schools, a lot of times, it's the students and the parents. You got to have the teachers, parents, and students all be on the same page, all doing the right things to have a child's education go smoothly. If any of those factors are off, you're going to have a problem. And things like this, situations like this with violent students, it's the students, obviously. And when the students are violent, you're going to have fewer teachers that want to go to these schools, that want to participate, that want to educate, which would lower the quality of education overall. You're going to get a lower quality of teacher who wants to go and babysit these future inmates. But I digress.
When I looked in that video, I couldn't see a single student in that class showing concern.
Right.
He believes the school needs money and people should write their local representatives.
Money ain't gonna do it. See, that's where, a guy like that might be a liberal guy. He might be kind of a bleeding heart thinking, okay, we just need more resources. Money ain't gonna do it. You think money is gonna make this girl not pepper spray you? You think it's gonna make a difference? Now, maybe the money could help toward getting more staff, perhaps. Maybe they could have come to help you at a certain point. But in reality, it wasn't going to stop this interaction because that student is going to be who that student is, regardless of what kind of money you throw at them. The parents are probably poor. When I say poor, I don't mean financially. I mean not quality parents. Because what kind of parents are going to raise a child that's get to be 15, 16 years old that pepper sprays a teacher over the phone?
lives.
And what I want to know is, why is the district not making these failing schools a priority, and why is our state legislature not funding our education system?
See.
Now, Bates says he will finish out the school year here at Antioch remotely, and he says he and the school are trying to press charges.
Yeah, you should press charges for sure. That should be what you do. Trying to talk about more money. See, that's where a lot of these liberal people, that's where they don't really understand what's going on. Let me come back so you can see me clearly. Shout out to that guy for coming out on TV and saying anything about the students, because again, you're a white guy. You're in Antioch. It's kind of a rough area, I suppose, in Nashville. If you're in Nashville, y'all let me know about Antioch in the comments. But he's brave to come out and say anything about this at all because of the racial dynamics, first. But second, he doesn't understand the solution. The solution is you have to leave and go somewhere else. Because if a student is going to do that, that means they're going to have bad parenting. And if that's going on, you're never going to be able to fix it. You see, like I said, when you're talking about education, K through 12 especially, it requires all three, teachers, students, and parents, to all be on the same page. They all got to be doing the right thing. They all got to have the students' best interests. They have to be quality parents, quality students, quality teachers. If any of those three are not working properly, you're not going to have a good experience. You could have good parents and good kids, but if you got bad teachers, you're going to have a low quality education. If you have good teachers, and it's going to be kind of hard to have good parents if you got bad kids, it's usually going to be a good teacher with bad parents and bad kids. This is why in some schools, you'll see that some of the kids, a lot of times it's among racial lines, but not all the time, some of the kids in the same class will do very well, and then some kids won't. And then some are going to say, because a lot of times it's among racial lines, some are going to say, well, the teacher is racist. Is that the case? Or is it that the white kids, a lot of times, and some black and Hispanic and Asian kids, is it because they have parents that actually care about them, that taught them things before they got to K through 12? Do they have a better a home structure or family life? And then the black kids, you have a worse home structure or worse family life. The parents don't care at all. The kids go to school in kindergarten with no skills whatsoever. They just get dumped in the system. And then you have these kids in the same class with each other. You're going to have a handful of these kids that come from the black neighborhoods, the black households that don't have parents that care, who are going to act out a lot. So it might be a class of 32 kids. 3 of the black kids are going to be constantly terrorizing everybody else, and a lot of attention is going to be paid to them to the detriment of all the other kids, which brings down the quality of education. And then that persists all throughout K through 12. That's usually how it goes. And again, I'm not trying to say it's a black or a white thing, but often it winds up being like that. Me personally, that wasn't my story. I was always a straight A student. My mom prepared me before I got to school. Both of my grandparents on my dad's side were teachers. So I would go visit Granny, for example, in Roanoke. She had all kind of teachers, aides and books and everything else that I would just be interested in. I was an avid reader. I loved the book fair. That was me. And a lot of my black friends were the same way. But there were some kids that came from the same neighborhood I came from, the so-called hood, that just couldn't do right. They couldn't get right. And then they would be the ones that got a bunch of attention because they'd be acting up. And then they did the exact same thing all throughout their career. And a lot of times before they graduated high school, they drop out and they would go to the penitentiary. That's how that would happen. So no amount of money is going to fix that. I was able to perform very well in schools that weren't really funded. There's no need to just pump more money into it. You still will have that same thing happen regardless of how much money is there. But as I close, I want to say this. Shout out to that teacher for speaking out against what's happening in the school. And don't go back. Go to a school to where this kind of thing doesn't really happen too much. Or at least go to a school to where if that kind of thing did happen, the student gets expelled. Because one more thing as I close, a lot of times these kids will not really get punished. They will literally punch a teacher in the face, pepper spray him, do all kind of things in the bathroom they shouldn't be doing. They might get a slap on the wrist at best when they should be expelled from the school completely. Then some are going to say, oh, well, the black kids get punished more harshly. But it's like, who is committing the actual violations in the school? Who is doing the actions? I don't care if you're white, black, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. you got to go. If you got a white kid talking about, I'm going to shoot the school up and I'm going to do this, that, and the third, hey, you might want to expel that person too. If they're looking like they are going to be a threat, you might want to get them out of the school. You might want to give them some kind of mental health therapy and keep a lookout if they want to come back with their gun on them. And if you got the black kid in there beating up teachers, beating up students, beating up everybody else, well, maybe they should go as well, because you have a constant violent threat in your midst, a constant distraction that's going to prevent the other kids from being able to get a proper education. It's very simple, but I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here in Antioch, Tennessee, Nashville area? Do you think that this is a thing about funding, or is it as simple as you have bad parents and then bad kids? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. No amount of money is going to fix this. You got to get down to the root cause. If you have bad kids, they got to go. I don't care what color they are. If all the bad kids in a particular school happen to be black, then so be it. If they happen to be white, then so be it. If they're Hispanic, Asian, I don't particularly care. The color thing to me is not even really important. Okay, whoever is doing the wrong thing got to go. It can't be a slap on the wrist. It can't be, oh, well, we got to look out for these kids. Some of these kids are violent. You're 16 years old in high school, pepper spraying teachers. You got to go. And you might need to go to the penitentiary, make big rocks and the little rocks. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.